I think sometimes when you give someone too much respect, they think they have a hold on you, like they have some kind of leverage, which I do not like.
So like, there's a question here about earned trust versus granted trust. Like you shouldn't just have it because you are older. You should have it because you've earned it and you've done good things in your life.
One thing that bothers me is like the older approaches is like they're expired. And they know that they're expired. Like they don't want to trust any newcomer who's a new generation who has new ideas to implement any new ideas.
Okay, interesting. So if I were to give you a challenge, find the person you need to be in between the one who has to take it and the one who needs to push back. We respect and admire our elders. And we give them dignity in ways that Western culture doesn't. You think it's too much?
Yeah.
You think it's too much dignity? Turning here, I missed. Oh, I took us in the wrong direction. That's what happens when you're distracted. Yeah, Said Omar, is it safe to introduce you as a 23-year-old CEO? Is that fair?
Sure.
You carry that title comfortably?
I carry that title very comfortably.
Okay, very good. So you brought up this topic the other day about, if I were to summarize it, would be like condescension.
Yeah.
Like, so as a young CEO, I think you've earned your place, you've earned your position. But you described a situation where someone was talking down to you. Can you describe that a little bit more in politically appropriate terms?
Sure. So I was in a board meeting with 5 different board members. One of them is particularly condescending. He's 65 years of age, and he thinks he owns the world. So I was having trouble understanding what he wanted from me, and he was having trouble understanding what I meant. So it's a problem I face very often, and I'm trying to find a solution to this.
So like, there's a question here about earned trust versus granted trust. Like you shouldn't just have it because you are older. You should have it because you've earned it and you've done good things in your life. So this resonated with me for a couple of reasons. There's one thing which I think is beautiful about our culture. We respect and admire our elders. And we give them dignity in ways that Western culture doesn't. You think it's too much?
Yeah.
You think it's too much dignity? Okay. So, and it's too much indicated by the indication you had, or it's too much even in social settings more broadly?
No, not in social settings. I mean, to our parents and to these people that work with us. Because I think sometimes when you give someone too much respect, they think they have a hold on you, like they have some kind of leverage, which I do not like.
I thought about the topic in 2 ways. One of them sort of like operationally. So how might we deal with this in the moment? I came up with 3 strategies. I want to see if they sit well with you. The first one is like operational, which kind of speaks to the dignity element, which I think they feel entitled. So it's like private versus public challenge.
Yeah.
Right, so in public, and especially in your case, that might be like presenting a unified front when we're in front of the board or in front of the staff, but challenge them directly behind closed doors. Yeah. Does that feel like a workable strategy?
That feels like workable.
Strategy number 2, I'm calling this translation.
Yeah.
Translation versus contradiction. And the statement that might come out like this is, I think your instincts are right, but here's what's different about now. Do you think...
I think that would appear to be disrespectful to the 2 of them, because they think they own the room and they think they know better because of the 40 years of difference we have. Yeah, I cannot put a generalized approach to this, but the guy I'm dealing with is a bit too cutthroat.
Okay.
Yeah.
A third potential strategy, which is questioning in a way that allows them to acknowledge the edge of their understanding, right? And so something might hear,
so kind of putting them on the spot on something.
A little bit, but like let's be kind to them, because their egos are a bit fragile. They're old. You speak so harshly, but their egos are a bit fragile. So what this might look like is, what did you see that makes you confident that your approach, which you applied in the past, is appropriate now?
Yeah. One thing that bothers me is the older approaches is they're expired, and they know that they're expired, but they just don't know. Like they don't want to trust any newcomer who's a new generation who has new ideas to implement any new ideas. Okay. Then we're at a dead end. We're at an impasse, because I cannot handle you. You cannot take what I'm saying. So what are we doing? Yeah.
If you were able to talk to each other in that moment and actually get through, What would a question like that, which like lets them see the edge of their knowledge?
Like, I love the idea, and I think I'll implement it, that I have to put them on the spot somehow in a kind way, as you said, where like it examines the depth of his idea, the lengths of his idea.
The last one I think is general. I said 3. This is actually 4. I think it's I call it positional language. So, and this is a very Western phrasing. I'm curious how you might translate it here. So, as CEO, you bear responsibilities which he does not as a board member.
Yeah.
What might it sound like? What might it be like to phrase it in terms of, I understand what you're offering me, but as CEO, I will inherit the consequence, and therefore it's my decision.
I understand where you're coming from, but it's my decision to make.
Is that something you could do? You could say?
I could say, but again, it's a board, so they kind of have a collective upper hand.
Yeah.
So what my approach would be now that I think of it is, I think it's easier to convince the other board members
Okay.
rather than him. So I can just outrun. I can just outcall him. I can outboard him in a way. Outmaneuver him.
So now I'm going to ask you for advice.
Yeah.
The other side of that equation, so that's like the operational fix. And then there's kind of like the existential fix, like who are we in this moment? So I think I've told you these stories. When my father talks, again, I'm a 47-year-old man, so when my father talks down to me, he does in a way which is, especially on faith and language, in a way which is so condescending. And I have to say, in that moment, I am transported back to being a 15-year-old being spoken down to. And in that moment, I have to ask myself, who am I in this moment, and what actually am I reacting to? How would you advise me to deal with my father? Or in fact, how would you advise anyone dealing with someone in their senior in that sort of existential way in the moment to deal with it?
But what I would suggest is just let him think and let him be. For example, because in my position, where you have a senior executive trying to outrank you or call you on something, like there's something that needs to happen. But when it's your father, you can just let him be, man. Let him be his 60 or 70 or 80-year-old self, and let him enjoy bullying you into things and making him feel powerful. I think this is how they get like happiness in life, just controlling people.
Now, translate that into being talked down to by a board member.
Well, I cannot
Who
do
do you
that.
need to be?
I need to be a junior level, not even an employee, like a junior level car washer. I don't know, man. It's like I need to be extremely junior to be able to allow such talking that to happen to me and not react to it in an aggressive way whatsoever.
Interesting. So if I were to give you a challenge, find the person you need to be in between the one who has to take it and the one who needs to push back. What might that exploration of self look like as you're trying to figure out who do you need to be in that moment? How might you go about doing that?
Well, I need to think about this, but I would say I need to position myself in different levels, different managerial levels, and see how I receive the information that it's being given to me, and how would I react based on who I am at that moment. So it's a bit of a challenge to do, but I'll try it.
Yeah, so the operational part is typically the easier of the two. Like that existential, like who do I need to be identity-wise, that's the harder part, always. Sir, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Cheers. Thank you. Take good care.